This is Townsquare Sunday. New Bedford is again hosting the Whaling City Triathlon and Duathlon on July 21st, 7:30 in the morning at Fort Taber Park. And here to tell us about the event and some other information you should know is Mark Walter of Sun Multisports Events, which puts on the competition. Welcome, Mark. Good to see you.
Good to see you too, Jim. Thanks for having me.
So I was going over some material on the website, and I saw 10 years in New Bedford. 10 years this has been happening?
That's correct.
Wow. That's it hasn't been that long, it seems, but clearly it has, and it's been a good relationship, I guess, between you and the city.
Absolutely. The city's been fabulous to work with. I really look forward to this event each year. Very supportive of everything we're doing here.
For those who don't know, the triathlon and the duathlon is, we'll talk about the duathlon in just a moment, but the triathlon is a quarter-mile swim followed by an 11.4-mile bike course and then a 3.1-mile run.
That's correct.
It sounds grueling. How many competitors do you expect?
Overall, for this year's event, we're expecting to have about 750, which will be a new record. Last year, for the first time, we went over 600, and we are tracking well ahead of that pace from last year. So, yeah, we're very excited for the support and interest we're seeing in the event.
And this is done rain or shine. I mean, no matter what the weather, unless thunder might stop it, I suppose, right?
Exactly. So yes, it is rain or shine, but certainly if there was lightning, that would alter our plans or any other acts of God or other, mischief, I guess.
Right.
But yes, it's pretty much rain or shine.
July 21st, 7:30 a.m. in the morning at Fort Taber Park. What is the duathlon, Mark?
Duathlon is for those that prefer or just don't want to swim, and it consists of running, biking, and then running again. So the triathlon is a quarter-mile swim, 11.4-mile bike, and then a 3.1-mile run. The duathlon starts with a 1.1-mile run, and then they do the same bike and run as those in the triathlon.
All right. There is also something called, according to the website, a tri-team challenge. What is that?
Yes. So there are numerous triathlon clubs in the area, and we have a competition that invites them to essentially race as a team. And as long as they enter 10 or more athletes, what we'll do is we'll add up all their individual team times to form, all their individual times to form a team time, and the team with the fastest team time wins. And we're giving them the first prize. It would be $500 cash, but then we also have all kinds of goodies from sponsors and credits to some of our other events.
Now, there is a cost for entering this event. What is that? And that money, I assume, goes towards all the things you might think it does. Expenses, first of all. There's got to be police and all of that. We're going to talk about the roads being closed in a moment. But what is the cost?
So, again, there are multiple races. In addition to the duathlon and triathlon, we also have something called a splash and dash, which is for people that don't want to bike or prefer not to bike or don't have a bike. So that is just the quarter-mile swim, and then they go out and do the 3.1-mile run. So that's the least expensive option, which is at $49. And then we also have the option for people to do the triathlon as a part of a relay team, and that's at $149. So that's the range, $49 to $149. We do have reduced pricing for individuals 19 and under. That's all posted right on the registration page, no code required, but that is the price range.
Okay, so and where can people go to sign up? Let's get that out of the way, too.
Sure. The best place to go is to www.sunmultisportevents.com. That's my company's website, and from the events menu on that page, you'll be able to find the Whaling City. I'm sure if you also just Google Whaling City Triathlon, you'll be able to find it pretty quickly.
All right. And all of this activity is being contained around the south end peninsula of New Bedford, around Fort Tabor Park.
That's correct. Okay. The swim is in Buzzards Bay within the confines of the park, so it starts right by the community boathouse where the pier is. So they do a quarter-mile swim there. Once they exit the water, they go onto the large field adjacent to the community center, which is where we have transition, as it's called, where people have staged their bikes. They then do the bike course, which is primarily up and down East, West, and South Rodney French Boulevard. We do utilize some additional side roads, but that's primarily the course. They then come back to transition within Fort Tabor Park, and then they go out and do a run, which is up the sidewalks of West Rodney French, and then back into the park, and they go around Fort Rodman, out on the pier, and then they finish right on that field next to transition.
All right. So that's the course for these events. This is Townsquare Sunday. I'm Jim Phillips. My guest is Mark Walters of Sun Multisports, sponsors of the Whaling City Triathlon and Duathlon on July 21st, 7:30 a.m. at Fort Tabor Park. For those who may have to travel, who live in that area, who may have to get up and go somewhere on that Sunday morning, some roads will be closed, right?
That's correct. So this year, all of East Rodney French Boulevard from the park entrance to David Street will be closed in all directions. So there will be no car traffic essentially between 7 and about 9:30, 9:45 once we have everyone off the bike course. South Rodney French Boulevard will also be closed in both directions. And then on the west side, it will be there will be a car lane that will allow cars to drive north from Bayview up to I believe it's Valentine Street. But then we're also going to have 2 bike lanes. So cars will be able to travel north only on West Rodney in that area.
Okay, so the police are all well aware of this route, and you've worked it out with them.
Absolutely.
After 10 years, I'm sure it's
That's right.
familiar.
There'll be signage posted no later than that Friday. We also will be sending out a mailer to homes along the route to notify them. That should go out in the next week, so they'll should have at least a week's notice of what's going on and some of the timing and that kind of thing. We do recognize it does present an inconvenience for some, but it's temporary, and the benefits are a lot of people having a good time and enjoying their fitness. A lot of spectators for this? We do get quite a number of spectators. I'm sure families of the participants, but exactly. Beyond that. Absolutely. We do get a lot of spectators because of the closed bike course and the run course, which is also essentially closed all on sidewalks and walking paths. We attract a lot of first-timers. And I think a lot of first-timers like to have friends and family there to help support them. And I've often said I consider this one of the most spectator-friendly races or triathlons in New England, because if you play your cards right, you could actually see your favorite athlete 9 times during the course of the event, going into the water, coming out, on the bike, on the run, at the finish. And I have that all documented in the athlete guide that we send out to our participants. What time will all of it be over? So the race starts at 7:30. We'll have everyone off the bike course no later than 10. It should be before that. And everyone will be across the finish line by 10:30, 11 o'clock. So really, it's not a long time that the roads are going to be closed or anything like that. But correct. By late morning, most people get around. Correct. And I guess the other thing that's worth noting is the entrance to the park will also be closed during the time where we have bikes coming in and out. It's obviously kind of a narrow entrance to try to have cars and bikes. So that also presents a minor inconvenience for a brief period of time on that morning. And so folks must be getting there pretty early then. Absolutely. We'll essentially open our doors at 5:30 a.m. for people that are looking to get their bike into transition or check in for packet pickup. And then, as I said, we'll be off and swimming at 7:30. So how many, again, the numbers you talked about? So overall, we're looking to have about 750. Of that, probably 600 or so will be there for the triathlon, over 100 for the duathlon, and then it's a smaller number on the splash and dash, somewhere around maybe 20 to 30.
Okay. Can people still sign up to compete then?
Absolutely.
Still open.
Yes, we are expecting the race to sell out. So currently, registration is open until Friday, the 19th of July, but potentially the race could sell out prior to that. It wouldn't be much earlier than that, I don't think, but I don't expect registration to be open beyond that.
And so they can do that right up until the 19th if there's space available.
Correct.
When do you say enough?
When we hit 750.
750?
Yes, that's the
and
number.
You think you're going to do that?
I think we will, yes.
Yeah. How many local contestants do you have? Or is this a New England event?
Well, we actually have representation from 13 different states, obviously heavily drawing from the New England states, primarily from Massachusetts. I also saw on our recent registration list a few people from Ontario, Canada, coming down. So we're excited to have them as well. So yeah, I think it's such a beautiful spot, such a great location. New Bedford has so much to offer, so I do think that helps draw a much bigger crowd than just locals, but definitely well supported locally. I think we have about 20 or so athletes from New Bedford itself.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and as you say, it's a great place to watch an event like this, and you can see your athlete up to 9 times,
Correct.
which is kind of nice. Do you have folks lined up along the bike route or anything like that? Does that happen?
Most spectators will come into the park to see the athletes start the race, and then they'll make their way out just beyond the park entrance along East and South Rodney French Boulevard. So that's where they'll tend to congregate, and that allows them to see athletes as they go out on the bike, and because it's multiple loops, they get to see them when they go out, come back in, and go back out and come in. So that's where they pick up a few viewing spots.
Sidewalk areas there that work pretty well.
That's right.
For people who are spectating, watching this race. So where can people learn more about this event, Mark? Again, talk about your website and what it has on there.
Sure. Again, the website is sunmultisportevents.com, or simply Google the Whaling City Triathlon, and I think that'll be probably the top search result. And on that page of our site that is dedicated to this event, you'll find a schedule of events of the timing of when the race starts and when we do things like packet pickup. You'll find course maps so you can see where the swim is exactly, where this transition thing is that I was discussing, the bike route, the run route, and then other aspects of the event that you'll have questions about.
What keeps triathlon people going? What is it about these kinds of competitions? Most of us might want to swim, and we can swim. Some might want to ride a bike for a long distance. Others might want to run a little bit. But putting all three of these together, it takes a lot of determination, I think, for these athletes to compete. Never mind win, just compete.
Correct. Yes, you're essentially training for three sports, and I think that for many is the biggest attraction because the diversity of it. A lot of people, all they do is run, and eventually sometimes they have then knee issues and maybe they can't run. So I think what's great about this is it just gets all parts of the body working. And again, it's really never boring. Everyone has their favorite. Some people prefer to do the bike versus the other three, and they'll grumble about swimming, especially if the water's too cold, things like that. But for the most part, the charm is in trying to master all three. And that's where the great sense of achievement comes from having completed one of these.
And as you've said, New Bedford is kind of an ideal spot. It's got a real... the waterfront is there, and the bike course is right there, and it's all ready to go. Absolutely,
and it is not a common occurrence to find a triathlon that has closed bike and run courses. That is a rarity. And again, I think for first timers that might be a little nervous maybe about being out on the bike on open roads, and now they're doing it in a race where there's several hundred people. We get that. But I think that is certainly one of the things that makes this event so attractive. And then the city just has so much to offer as well. Restaurants, museums, music. It's a great place to spend a weekend. And
will there be any other festivities after 10 o'clock, after 11 o'clock at Fort Tabor, or will people just go where they're going to go?
Well, we do have, we'll always have an award ceremony where we recognize the day's top performers. We also have giveaways of all kinds from our sponsors. We'll have a food truck there. We do have a DJ that keeps the energy level high. So those are some of the things that post-race people can look forward to.
Okay, so you can still sign up. You can sign up at sunmultisports.com.
No, sunmultisportevents.com.
Sorry.
That's okay.
So, and throw out a little carrot, Mark, if you want to.
Sure. So for anybody listening, if they wanted to sign up, they're interested in having heard what we talked about today, I've established a promo code, RADIO, keep it simple, RADIO, and that'll save the user 10% on any of the races in this event.
There you go. You heard it here, right on WBSM and Fun 107. My thanks to Mark Walters of Sun Multisports Events. Again, sunmultisportsevents.com to sign up. And it's promised to be an exciting day. Hope the weather holds. I really hope, the weather's been so iffy this spring. It's well into summer on July 21st, but you just never know.
Correct.
But rain or shine, this event is held. Hope you have a great turnout on the 21st, Mark.
Thanks, Jim. Thanks for having me.
Stay with us. Townsquare Sunday returns in just one moment.